Hello and welcome to Coffee. We've got to wait a minute because people are coming over. So
morning, everyone.
Morning, everybody. We were just doing a live over on Instagram.
Which happens every day.
You look very cute today.
Oh, gee whiz, you look really sexy. You know what that means? We could sing a duet later.
Oh, what's one of those?
Lady in red. We dance cheek to cheek. Cheek to cheek.
No, you don't know it. Do you remember? Do you remember
when we sat on the stool?
Yeah. Do you remember when?
The good old days.
Do you remember when? Because we start. Welcome if you're new to the channel. Please hit the subscribe button. We started Coffee Moaning way back when in the pandemic.
Yes.
And we used to do things like that. Sit on the stool and sing. Oh, she's got another sock.
Yeah, she's got your sock.
Fucking hell, toffee. Oh. And we used to do, what was that one we did that? So one of you will remember. It makes me laugh.
Lady in Red.
Was it Lady in Red?
I serenaded you.
Oh.
And back then, it's interesting when you watch it, you don't get as annoyed with me as quickly. You let me go for longer.
Because
story of my life.
Oh. You've got worse. This is why you've got worse.
No, you're right.
Did anyone watch our podcast yesterday? We had a major round.
Someone said, blink twice, Mark.
That's what happens.
The most authentic relationship podcast out there. Honestly.
Yeah. It was really interesting because we didn't know what we were going to do.
I was sat in a cupboard. It was very odd.
Mark was in a cupboard and then Mark brought something up and it just triggered me back to our early days of our relationship.
Victoria Moore, How to Stay Married was the best one yet.
It was bad. Mark said to me at the end, because we never edit them. I was
worried you looked cross.
But and he did actually say to me, do you want me to cut anything out of that? And I said, no. People will say, oh God, you were a bitch to him, or you were this, or you were that. But that is what a marriage is like. I looked like a hostage.
I was in a cupboard and I needed to blink twice.
But also, I wasn't going to let go until you understood what I was trying to say, which was that it really hurt and upset me and took me back.
You need to tell them.
Oh, so I've started again. I've started again.
Let go of what?
Let go. Stop. Anyway.
I wish you would let go.
So we were over on Instagram. We'll get to what we're going to be talking about in a minute. And I said to Mark, write that down. So he gets a bloody pen.
I find a pen that's already been nibbled.
And starts to write it on my effing hand. I said, Mark, and I was saying to the followers on Instagram, I said, this is what it's like. We have done a live show for 5 years without ever having a pen and a piece of paper. Usually it's my eyeliner or it's something. And so he went over.
So we have that.
So he went over to get a piece of paper and he went, oh, no.
Yeah, so...
But I don't know what
First of all, it's accepted and quite normal in this house to have fluorescent pink paper.
That's because that's
write on.
Steams.
But when I turned it over to find the white side...
Was that in the drawer?
It's a date pip.
We eat a lot of dates here. Do you know there are so many fascinating things about dates?
Hang on. Don't get to the nutritional fucking worth of this. Right.
Dates.
Welcome.
Dates, actually, and isn't this incredible when you think of the nomads traveling across the desert and taking a few dates? They actually rehydrate you.
And also, you were saying that they're so sweet, but they don't give you a spike in blood sugar.
Well, your blood sugar goes up, but you don't get a crash. So it's quite good to have a date when you're very low.
This is the collection of... Look, we've got a lemon pip here as well. Oh, that was from pancakes last night. Yeah.
Right, anyway.
Just quickly, for any of you who are into merch and that lovely coffee moaning, look, after this live goes up, in the first comment, I'll pop a link. And if you fancy an enamel...
It's really annoying me because I like my one.
Or a ceramic. Where is it?
Well, we've only got one.
Demand, so
can you please buy me another one? The ceramic.
I'll buy you a mug.
And it's got Mark written on it.
Is this going off piste already, says Dawny Harvey. We were never on piste. Now, why did I need the paper? Can you remember?
To write down, to mention Married at First Sight for Zoe at the end of the show so that people that aren't watching it don't have to stay.
You're not in the Senate holding up signs for Donald Trump. We're not talking about Donald Trump. We're not talking, and it's big news last night, bigly news.
And we're really excited. We've been listening. We've been up early listening to all kinds of pundits over the pond. and we're excited with all the different
So
things
much.
that happen. We've gathered lots of info, we've gathered lots of little videos and photos, and that will be alive tonight. Trump's America. So
Trump's
we're keeping
America.
everything about America sacrosanct.
That's odd. What
I just had bubbles
How's
on
the
my throat.
lump?
Apparently that's a really bad ick that puts the girls off boys if they get a bubble in their throat.
I get bubbles in my throat.
I'll be careful.
Have you still got the thing lodged in your throat?
No, thank God it's
Excuse me.
gone. I thought I had an obstruction.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. That's done.
Right.
That's
So what are we talking,
so what are we talking about today? Very, very serious subject matter, which is a big story that the Guardian is running.
This story.
This is matricide. This is new statistics, shocking statistics on the number of mothers killed by their sons. There's no other way of kind of varnishing that headline, but it's not just, we're not just going to talk about that, which in and of itself is hideous and horrific and shocking in the extreme, but we're also going to look at the predominance of women who die in this country, how many of them die at the hands of people they know, and then people they're in relationships with.
You're still most in danger from a man, women, in your own home. 80%, I think, of murders, women being murdered. I think, well, we've got the stats. We'll talk about that.
We're going to talk about that. And I have actually made a point of screenshotting some of the stats so we can use them as kind of springboards into the conversation.
It's really shocking.
Meghan Markle's, I've put spoof Netflix show because it's right for spoofification.
Oh my God.
Now, I want to be clear here. This is not a get in there and give Meghan a kicking because it's Meghan. This is, we do the same, we have done the same with Gwyneth Paltrow. This is about La La Land. This is about sort of extraordinary wealth and Americana and anyway.
A bit like when the Kardashians for me. I always say I love watching this other world of this like obscene wealth and stealth wealth and all of that. So we're going to be talking about
that Zoe Agnew in the chat is still still experiencing Dina-fication. It's diabolical.
Yeah. Well, when we get there, Zoe, give us like a little paragraph of what you thought of it.
For any of you who don't know who Dina is, Nadia goes to great lengths on the Curly Cooks to explain she's her sister. I'm her brother-in-law.
No, you're my husband.
No, I'm Dina's brother-in-law. Go to Dina's Instagram if you fancy. I dropped Maddie off for college at the station this morning, and she said, "Dad." I said, "What?" She was so heavy. We both sit there in silence listening to music. And she said, "Well, what's up?" She said, "Have you seen Dina's post?" I said, "What? What has she done?
All of it.
What has she done?" Because Michelle, who helps us here, obviously, lovely Michelle, she said, "I give her a week and she'll be cancelled because she struggles to sit on her hands out, Dina." I said, "What's she done? What's she done? Do I need to tell Mum?" She said, "No, Dad, you need to watch it." She tears down the Royal Mail.
Oh, God.
in only the way that Dina can. A smiling assassin. That's what
we're a
she is.
Step away from cancellation. It's so annoying.
Yes.
It's going to be so annoying when she can't be seen anymore.
Okay, well, let's do serious and then let's move to light. So this is the headline.
Yeah, we're also going to be talking about chores as well. So have a little think about that.
Yeah.
Because this is based on a 75-year study by Harvard, which has discovered all sorts of things that are very good about chores. We didn't want to just talk about that. We wanted a bit of nostalgia about chores. So your own nostalgia, your own thoughts on that. Did you do them? How did you feel? Were you able to make your kids do chores and vice versa and on and on?
Maybe before we, no, in fact, that's inappropriate. We're going to talk about the serious story first and then we'll move through because we've got a few light-hearted clips as well. So Nadia was making a point just quickly before we get going. It's amazing. When we started Coffee Moaning, we never had play-ins, we never had clips, we never had photos. And when I think somehow, I mean, believe it or not, it's quite stressful sometimes getting the show ready, making sure we get the right stories, getting the right clips. Also being certain, it doesn't always go to plan, but also being certain that we're trying to cover the news, but not solely the news.
Because we're not journalists.
No.
We try and do it in the way that you might talk to your friends about stuff.
So a lot of thought goes into it each day. But it was amazing when you said we never had all of these.
We never had any of these
support assets.
But what's so great about it is that on YouTube you can show clips you just can't show on telly. Yeah. You know, you might often watch shows like Loose Women and think, oh, well, why aren't they showing that? It's because it would cost thousands of pounds. Like we'll say, oh, can we show this clip when that you're talking? Oh no, it's going to cost us $3,000 if we do it. It's
Not
like,
just that, but also
I hope they never do that with YouTube.
No, but also there's a kind of tendency within television, unfortunately, to sort of sneer at anything on social media. So when we show clips, we're showing the clips that really the mainstream media is just not nimble enough to reach to get to. And that's what's really good, because me and Nadia have different search terms and accounts that we follow. So in a morning, we'll both send each other clips that we'll have found. And a lot of your news, when it comes through Instagram, it's really, you know, it's just great. It's kind of outside the mainstream.
So we're really enjoying it at the moment. And thank you for always being with us, you lovely lot. And I just saw there that Jackie Foligno is nearly with us 5 years.
Well, guess what? For those members who have been with us for 5 years, we've literally sorted the link. We're going to be popping it up this weekend for you to get your badges. Yes, 5-year badges. Fantastic. So many bits and bobs that you can be part. It's like a club and a fan club. Anyway.
And that's a free badge.
That's a free badge.
Right, okay. Let's go.
Okay, so this is the story in The Guardian today. More than 170 mothers killed by their sons in 15 years in the UK, a new report reveals. And this is a big case study. This is called the 2000 Women Report by the Femicide Census, which is seen by The Guardian. It talks about the fact that nearly 1 in 10 of all women who died at the hands of men in the UK over the past 15 years were mothers killed by their sons. And I just want to, why do we think that is? I mean,
well, they do give some an analysis there, isn't it?
A lot of it is mental health.
Mental health. And I thought this was a really interesting thing that came up from it, that more and more people are continuing to live in their parents' home due to the cost of living and not being. And I was thinking about that. I was thinking, wow, and that can literally lead to murder.
Well, one of the really quite hideous facts in this, which we are gonna step through, and I hope that none of it's triggering, but it is quite shocking, the nature of some of the attacks. I don't know if you read the details around the statistics. Yeah, I think there's that, and I think the whole article, which really homes in on matricide, but also looks to, as you rightly say, the broader issue with. And I thought it was really powerful what you said earlier today. We keep pointing towards migrants and immigrants and other people. It's always other people. It's never us. It's other people who are causing all this violence.
But we're still most at risk by our own men, or by the men that we live with, that we're married to, or ex-partners. Yeah, that we're still married. And I just don't think we talk enough about that. Bless her, Jess Phillips is always trying. God. When you think of what Elon Musk said about her, I still go.
But I'm also put in mind of that quote that someone said, or that statistic. I think it was a poll actually of women saying, would you prefer your chances of being left alone in a wood with a wild bear
or a man
versus in the wood with a man? And the majority said a wild bear.
Yeah.
Because there's a sort of, when it goes wrong, there is such a malicious intent and such a sort of considered. And so I'm going to flag up some of the statistics here. The 2000 report shows that mental ill health was a factor in 58% of matricide cases. Women were often left paying the price. Really interesting way of looking at it.
State failures.
So, when we talk about a lack of mental health care provision, it's not just for the person.
I worry about people
it's for the relatives of them.
I worry that people keep turning off when they hear lack of mental health care. It is so important. I don't think people make enough connections, because they think that if you talk about mental health and violence or crime, that in some way excusing that person. So therefore the discussion stops at a certain point around mental health. No stable person kills their own mother, do they? No. There is something that is going on. And what you see and what we've heard just in our own lives over the many years, is the amount of times that people have asked for help with their children and know that there is something wrong and there is something going on and don't get it. And can you imagine living with your child that has grown up and now terrorizes you? Because of course, the murders, the deaths are one end of it, but there will have been domestic violence that will even more difficult to talk about than if it's your husband. The shame, the guilt, the embarrassment. And I just got quite upset this morning thinking of all the women that maybe trapped in their own, not even telling their own friends that their son.
Well, because there'll be so much shame around
there.
There'll be so much shame.
Because you'll see it as some failing in you, and people think, well,
exactly.
what have you
People
done
will make a
for
judgment
your
on
child?
you. Exactly. And also the other point is that you get this is always the tip of the iceberg, the official statistics. So these are the official statistics. So behind them, there's the unofficial. And then beyond the unofficial statistics of deaths at the hands of sons is also the fact that it doesn't speak at all to the number of homes in which women are living in coercively controlled, tyrannical kind of relationships, households in relationship to their kids. I mean, so many parents, I know parents who've talked about being scared of their kids, and that can be fathers of daughters, mothers of son, mothers of daughters. It's not just a gender thing, a fear of kids. Kids can be tyrannical and can run rogue and run circles around parents who don't know how to kind of manage them or look after them.
And where do they talk? Who do they talk to? You might, still it's difficult if you're in a violent relationship. We know over and over that women don't talk because they somehow feel ashamed. But I think that's with knobs on when it's your own child.
I also think the behavior, the manosphere, the misogyny that's promoted on social media by the likes of potato heads and all that kind of stuff, I think that contributes to a justified resentment in young men towards any representation of woman. And for some of these men who, for whatever reasons, are feeling like emasculated, unable, the whole incel generation of not feeling like they can actually have relationships. They take it out on they all have a mother, sadly. They all have a mother. So there is always a woman to kind of target, isn't there?
And the thing is, we the real radicalization of young men, well, not just young men, there's, I think, a lot of middle-aged men as well, the radicalization of these horrific misogynists online. That I was listening to the news agents the other day, and they played out the man whose name we never mention. You all know who he is. His actual video of him saying, "You take that, you throw her down, and I don't even want to say it, on and on and on of what you do to get your woman back under control." And he and many others are pumping that shit out. So you've got somebody that's their life is crashing in on them. They're stuck in maybe the house that they grew up, and their mother probably, is an annoying person who's nagging him and moaning and whatever. And then you get this fuel being thrown online, this hate, this misogyny. And it becomes a tinderbox. It becomes a tinderbox. So
I just want to share.
What is the bloody answer? God only knows.
I just want to share. I want to pop this comment up because I've got a very strong opinion on this. We talked about something similar a couple of weeks ago. Deborah Edgar. Perhaps no male role model is part of some sons to be bad to their mothers. Now, the importance.
But also bad fathers.
That's exactly what I was going to say. We have this, I think, societally, and I've heard Nick Ferrari always says it because I, presume he's a good dad. But, he always says, well, they need a good father figure. Well, hang on a minute. There, but for the grace of God, go some of us who don't have fathers, because I'm not necessarily speaking about whoever my father is, but it doesn't always necessarily mean it's a good thing. It could actually sometimes mean it's a worse thing. Just to have a father figure, given the nature of masculinity now, in and of itself isn't necessarily a good thing. So
it has to be a good father. But I agree. The perfect situation is to have a good father, isn't it?
But what makes a good father?
What makes a good father is a father who steers and guides and loves and supports and respects his son, and also respects his mother.
But I think the idea,
and that's how you learn how to respect. But you can also have all of that with an excellent mother.
Yes.
But I mean, years ago, I used to do I can't remember what the show was. I can't remember the name of anything. But I did talk. We did a whole. It was the old Kilroy one, and we did the whole episode on violence and with sons and fathers, and the amount of. A lot of them spoke really beautifully about growing up with a father that was violent. They literally thought that's what you do with your mother. Obviously, then some educate themselves, but that can happen.
Sarah D says 100%. If you have a bad father figure, I'd say it's more damaging than not having one around at all.
Absolutely.
And therein lies a huge problem, because I think societally, government ministers, pundits, journalists, commentators, they will say everyone needs a father figure. Well, sometimes I pause when I hear some of the parental scenarios of kids that I've heard of or have come across, or the households of some households I've dropped kids off at and things like that. I'm thinking, oh my fucking Christ!
Much better if he was out the picture.
Better if we got him out the way.
And also, I think a good father without if there's a bad mother, it's better to not have the bad mother there.
Entirely agree.
You can have really narcissistic, controlling, horrible mothers that don't love their children, that wind them up. So I think it's about having somebody. I mean, what's the best thing? The best thing is probably a huge family where there's so much love. Yes. But how many people do we know that come from a single parent family that are excellent, admirable people? Like sometimes some of the stories that make me cry the most are when like big grown men are talking about their single mother that brought them up and did 3 jobs to keep them going. And they have such respect and admiration for their mum. Yeah. You do have great respect and admiration for
my dad wasn't around for many years and I was brought up by strong women. I feel I'm very respectful to women. Yeah. Lily. I'm sure you are. Yeah. Absolutely. The father and son dynamic is so complex, Reese, hi mate, because it can go wrong in so many ways, absent or present. The ultimate key is nurturing and unlearning the toxicity that is implemented to frame masculinity. Exactly. Totally agree. Erin Bullimore, all this talk about absent father figures is just heteronormative bullshit. A child can be raised perfectly well without a father figure. Agree. Teaching children respect and kindness is not gendered. My father figure was a culmination of men and women that I met across my life. I picked and chose. It was a kind of photo fit parenting. A lot of it, though, I worked out for myself. So, there's that. And Tony Schwartz, quite often the father joins in with the children, taking the piss and belittling the mother.
What I would say is that the children follow the father.
Right.
And I also think banter can get out of hand, often with the mum. I think that can really get out of hand and people don't actually realize what's happening. So respect at all times from, because we're talking about women and violence against women, but obviously it works both ways, but respect at all times from the man in the house, if he lives there, to the woman, is really, really important.
Mm. Just a couple more comments, then I want to move through some of the statistics quite quickly so that we can get things. My mother, Zoe, has caused me so much pain and stress my whole life. I've gone through so much trauma trying to deal with her narcissism.
It's the most difficult
thing. So yeah, it is not just, but I mean,
can we read Dawn Decker?
Sorry, Dawn Decker, yeah, absolutely. I agree, my son is compassionate, caring, works in human rights. I raised him alone due to his father being violent. He is thriving and caring and has other wonderful male role models.
That makes me well up.
Really does.
Because that perfectly sums up what we're all saying here. So Dawn Decker.
Dawn Decker, well done you. Here's some other statistics. 61% of women were killed by a current or former partner. Wow. Think about that. 9% of women killed by their sons, 6% by other family members, 15% by other men they knew, and 10% someone. So interesting.
Only 10%.
So the idea of the stranger, which is, misogyny on the streets, assault is a real thing. But in terms of the numbers, 9 out of 10 are people known to the victim.
Be really careful when you're choosing to hand yourself over to somebody. Be really fucking careful. Yeah. Don't ignore those red flags. If somebody is unkind to you, right at the beginning of a relationship, that's a little red flag. If somebody's rude to you, we've spoken a lot about this before, just be weird. If somebody's love bombing you like a nutter and getting angry with you. Ages ago, we talked about, I can't remember whether it was you that had seen this, Zoe, but somebody said, early on in the date, just disagree with something that the person is saying to you and just watch. Just watch how they react, because even if they just get a little bit tense, and that's your first or second date, that's going to tell you an awful lot.
We're getting a bit of interference on the. We're a bit fuzzy.
Are we roboting apparently?
Yeah.
Oh, how weird! Oh, don't touch the.
Stick with us. Stick with us. If I cut off this, though, I'm slightly concerned that I will lose.
Is it buffering so much that you can't watch it?
Hang on, just one sec. It might come back. How's that?
You spent so much time getting this clip.
Can
you bear it?
Are we back? New comments.
A bit
gone
fuzzy.
Sound gone. You sound robotic. Oh, is it better? I've just done a reboot on the thingy above.
Well, let's carry on.
Oh, yes, unwatchable. Yes, or it's back. We're back.
Okay.
Okay.
Right. So let's
hang on. Just quickly. Other statistics. Nearly half of women were stabbed. 27% strangled. 70% hit with a blunt instrument. 16% cases man used kicking, hitting, or stamping as the weapon. It's just awful. This is one of the details that I just thought was horrendous. Overkill, the use of excessive gratuitous violence beyond that necessary to cause death, happened in 59% of femicides. And the reason I find that so depressing suggests it's such fury in the violence.
Yeah.
Such fury in the violence.
Take your time when choosing a mate.
Yeah.
Work on yourself first.
We're definitely
and be sure
issues.
that you are, you've got your shit sorted.
I'm gonna have to move over to another. Just bear with us for 1 second. I'm gonna. Are we back? How is that? We'll wait until you've roboting again. Yeah, I get it. We're having a real frozen. Can you see us? Can you hear us? Are we back?
Let's carry on, and then if we're
because
this can go on for a while, then
yes, you're back. Dawney, it was just nice so that we're back. Okay, good.
Great.
Okay, so we're going to talk about Meghan Markle. Anyone seen the show? Zoe, we know that you think
just
it's
a yes,
diabolical.
no, if you've seen the show.
Yeah.
So as we said at the beginning, we were going to bed, and then we thought, we better take a quick 5-minute look at it because everyone will be talking about it tomorrow. And then we ended up going to bed late because we watched the whole damn thing. And it started off with the wonderful, mindful following of these beautiful bees in this beautiful garden with a beautiful bee man.
Yes.
We loved the bee man. He was like a gentle big hippie.
He was a giant hippie.
He was lovely, and he loved his bees, and the honey was beautiful, and it was sunny. It was California. It was gorgeous. Meghan. Mark
felt like it was the first time we'd met her.
Yeah, Mark said, "Oh my God, she's so pretty.
She's so pretty. She's spectacularly
She's got beautiful eyes." And we were just like, and I was like, "Oh, look at her jacket, look at her shoes, and so we were in. We were in, and then we went into a kitchen. I went, "Oh my God, we're actually in her kitchen. Oh, it's a lovely kitchen. Oh, it's gorgeous. Oh, it's beautiful." But it's like, it's not like a big flashy kitchen. Then it turned out it was the shed.
Well, no, hang on. There was a lot of moving between different buildings.
This isn't my kitchen. This is where I prepare for my guests.
That's right. There was a guest house.
That's not the kitchen. No, that wasn't the guest house.
What was it?
That was the shed.
But
that's
then there was
where she makes things.
Where did she make the candles?
In the shed.
Where did she make her food?
In the kitchen.
Her kitchen?
We don't know.
Ah.
I think it was her kitchen, but she never said this is my kitchen. But it was just extraordinary because then she was making up the guest house, but we didn't see the guest house.
No.
For her friend. And then her friend arrived.
This is the promotional for it. It's I tell you what,
and
I was
she was laying
by.
so then we're in this shed. That's the most beautiful shed you've ever seen. It's like we would all want that kitchen, never mind it being a shed. And she was making up this tray of beautiful things for her guest.
So
I
got
Martha
really
Stewart.
confused.
And Mark was going, "What is that?" I was going, "Oh no, it's beautiful. I would want, oh my God, look how much salt she's putting in the jar. I've got any idea how much rock salt is?" This is our conversation.
I
He
was
was
like,
going,
"What's she going to sprinkle
happening?"
the salt
I said,
on?
"She's doing a beautiful bath tray." He goes, "So would you like that?" I said, "I bloody love that.
Hang on.
I would love that." It was like guest. You know how sometimes you might bung an old towel on a bed if you've got a friend coming round? It was like hospitality on crack.
So this was the wooden tray kind of gift
but
of
the
salt.
Tray.
Okay, now
that tray was about £1,000.
Let me just explain to you what I got confused about. This is not a series that's interested in storytelling, but I would suggest it needs a little bit of storytelling in each show.
It
because
was
we
so
started
funny.
with bees. Just one second.
Yeah.
We started with bees.
Funny.
this was beautiful. And I thought, oh, we're into a sort of abstract, ecological. I was in the zone of the bee. I was thinking, I wonder if she's ever been stung.
This is genuine. We're not
I was
being
thinking,
silly.
I wonder where she's been stung. I wonder if she's been stung. I wonder if she's going to get. Anyway, then suddenly we were making something with salt with no explanation.
For
and
the
I thought,
bath, there wasn't
this is going to be
explanation.
bad for your heart and your colon.
She said it was for the bath.
Anyway, but then she was
Made a
making
tea
it for
bag.
her friend. Now her friend, who I've become strangely obsessed with, he came to the house. I'm going to show you a photo of her friend. I forget his name. He arrived, a former makeup artist with her on Suits. So he was coming for the day, not for the night. He spent 4 hours making candles. He was then given a tray of salt and told to have a bath.
No, he cut his finger
And
straight
he
off.
cut his finger
She
making
was having
something.
No, but we were like, we were into this. You know, she was like, because before he arrived, she said, when my guests come, there is nothing better for a hostess than you ask your guest, how was your night? And they said, oh, I slept like a dream.
He's not sleeping then.
No. And so, you know, and she'd made this huge tray. He's got to have a salt bath. He's going to have honey. He's going to have this. He's going to have that. He's going to have a tea bag of lavender in his bath so he doesn't leave the lavender bits in the bath. All of this. And we were like, and then he got there and all he did was work the whole time.
He not only, well, hang on, I've got a clip. Watch this clip. Is it this? I think.
Take for a candle to dry. 3 or 4 hours.
3 or 4 hours?
Where do you have to go?
He might have something to do.
No, he's staying the night.
He's not. He said
But-
he's going later that day.
But no, he wasn't. He was staying the night because he was going to have a bloody bath, wasn't he, in the guest house? But anyway,
4 hours.
So it went on, and it was like, oh my god, I was like, oh my god, you could see the pool from the corner of at the corner of the window. I don't care what anyone says. If anyone says I'm a shallow bitch, say it. I don't care. I love looking at the lifestyles of the rich and famous. It's like my thing with the Kardashians. But yes, okay, it's obscene wealth, and you know that I speak up for that all the time, and the you know, the disparity in the way the world is set out and everything. But I can't help it. I love looking at people's swimming pools. I love looking at people's immaculate kitchens and all their beautiful pots and pans. I've said a million times before, in the pandemic, when all the celebrities were in their houses saying how awful it all was, and we were looking at everything and all
then
the
they
pots,
stopped.
and then everyone kept going, oh, all these celebrities
Yeah.
telling us their misery from their own home. So they all stopped doing it. I was like, shut up. I want to have a look.
Yeah, I think a couple
So
of people
I
here are
love-
saying this is an affectionate kind of
Oh, God,
chat.
absolutely.
Well, no, and let me explain also. I have the same sort of aversion to this tinkly music and so-called friends coming in. When Jamie Oliver did it, when Nigella does it at Christmas, and they all come in and they're all a bit awkward and they're like, oh, fucking hell, we're doing this for our mate. And I became obsessed with them. But I'm going to say something really surprising.
What?
I desperately wanted to watch the second episode.
Because it was so incredible. It was like
mesmerizing,
it was just
hypnotic.
because I became obsessed with the cooking. Mark was going, you can't do that, can you?
She called
When-
spaghetti noodles.
No, but she put the spaghetti into the pan and then put the tomato, and he went, but the tomato's going
I
to
got
get
really
wet.
panic
No,
stricken.
but it was the lemon that the guy just kept
So
on.
much lemon.
I was like, that is going to be so disgusting because he's put all the piff in. But it was we just yeah.
But here's
like-
another little moment. Look at this from one of the other episodes, which I haven't seen, which actually, when I saw this clip, I thought, these are so pretty.
This morning.
Oh, they're nice.
Are they sweet?
Oh my gosh, how cute is this?
Lovely.
I mean, who ever thought of floral ice cubes?
Loads of people. Dina did a floral ice
Here's
bucket.
the question
She
for
got
a
it
mate.
from Lidl.
She did. It was
Yeah, it's
beautiful.
beautiful.
Like, in fact, it was much better than those.
And
Can
you
I
must
just
have used
ask, has
tap
she
water.
suggested anything new there?
Listen, I just love watching this insane lifestyle. I would love to just be making flowered ice cubes, and it's a lifestyle show, isn't it? I mean, it's not claiming to be anything else. That's what it is.
I am obsessed with him. I thought he was lovely. He cut his finger for the sacrifice. He was there all day. He made candles. She got him working
it was
hard.
working
But there's
nonstop.
this quote that I think some people have homed in on. Check this one out.
Because my mom loved their tacos.
I don't think anyone in the world knows that Meghan Markle has eaten Jack in the Box
It's
and
so
loves
funny too that you keep saying Meghan Markle. You know I'm Sussex now. You have kids and you go, no, I share my name with my children.
it. Yes.
I think this is right.
This is when it gets political. I don't like it when it gets political.
No, what I think is,
I like it.
okay, joking aside of loving the whole lifestyle thing, and I just fall for it because I suppose because our life is the complete antithesis of it. I love looking into worlds that we know nothing about, whatever that is. Yeah. But I think she is between a rock and a hard place.
Entirely agree.
I could not imagine. And also at points, I said to you, didn't it? It's almost like she doesn't want to look at the camera. There was a shyness there. And I think every single detail is going to be picked over by the bitchy columnists and the people that have just decided to hate her, whatever. She cannot win. Whatever she does, she cannot win. So, you know, you could say she's still working for a living. She's got this Netflix deal and she's got to work. She's got to work to pay for it. You know what I mean? But she is also still in a position where anything she says will blow up. And I think you feel that all the way through. So it's probably,
I'm going to be honest.
Once the cameras went off, she probably was a bit more with her friends. Oh, fucking hell. But it was stilted because they are all like,
I tell you what,
it's like being on eggshells.
I tell you, yeah, I think that's really accurate. And I what I felt and sensed in the interaction between her and this lovely chap who I've become very obsessed with, was she's walking a tightrope, and
absolutely,
and you could feel she was walking a tightrope, and so she's not wanting to be, in a sense, too indulgent, but she needs to be indulgent enough. She wants to show how the other half lives, but she doesn't want to rub people's noses in it.
But she can't, because she lives an unbelievable lifestyle. So just take out that she's married Harry. This is a move. Imagine the movie star lifestyle. You know, when the Kardashians cook a spaghetti, you know, it's a big thing. That's what I'm looking at. That's what I'm seeing. But she's got a whole load of pressure on because she's going to be vilified, whatever. But it was so out of reality.
But I have to confess, I'm not interested in making bath salts. I'm not interested in throwing noodles into a pot with tomatoes. And I'm not interested in making candles out of beeswax.
I don't think you're her target audience.
Hang on, can I get to the butt? I want to watch more, and I don't know why.
We were having such a weird conversation all the way through it, weren't we? It was.
I don't know why.
Lots of people here are saying the house is rented. Is it? Is it rented?
Me too. I'm thinking of all the things to put in ice cubes. Yes, so am I. So M&Ms. That's a great idea.
But it is true. If you use mineral water or filtered water with your ice cubes, that's how you get those gorgeous clear ice cubes.
Julie Franks, it's awful. Those dreadful American accents staged, so sickly.
See, I've always said one of Meghan Markle's biggest problems is that Brits hate that American accent. She has that kind of Americanism
that rubs Brits up the wrong way, says Nikki Bull.
Yeah, it's so beautiful.
See, I don't actually mind it. It's very LA. It's
so LA. But everyone in LA is like that.
Yeah,
you know.
But anyway, Reese, with regards to Jamie Oliver, Nigella have steeped a significant aspect of the professional career in cooking lifestyle programs, so it feels more true to who their persona is. I mean, you've got to cut.
She's no cook. I mean, I'll say that straight away. I'm sorry. She can't.
What did you make of a cake?
Well, I was very worried about only 2 tablespoons of honey in 3 cakes, because I said to you, that's not going to taste of any. We loved the bit when she scraped the honey off. We were like,
I have to say the bee footage was something else. I wanted bees.
No, but just I think she's trying really hard to be something, and she's trying to find her feet. She's been absolutely knocked this way, that way, this way, and she's trying to find a place.
Lee Durham, why can't she just stand there and cook a fry up? I do wonder whether maybe you and Dina, we should do a pre-recorded homage to this with the same music.
I think we should do.
I think we should do it, but it does require you to pause and be told what to do.
But I just think slicing the radishes would be enough.
Those were quite some radishes, weren't they?
Do you remember when Kendall Kardashian was cutting a cucumber?
Yes.
She went that way round.
So
she'd never cut a cucumber.
I can't say she looked confident with a knife.
No.
Just on that note, we're mentioning the Kardashians a lot. If you go to Times Square, there's this an enormous inflatable Kim Kardashian.
Advertising Skims.
Oh, right. So it's her own advertising campaign. Okay.
Yeah. What do we think of that?
I don't know. I kind of want to be the other side. I don't mean that in a horrible way, but I mean,
where is the other side?
Why aren't we on the other side? I do apologise for that.
But I mean, again, they are PR geniuses because everyone will slag it off.
Lee
Everyone.
Lee Torrance says I could be the bald-headed guy making candles. I think we should do it. I think we should do it. A
Oh,
tribute.
the making candles.
It would be a tribute.
But then I got online and was looking for beeswax candles.
And I've become obsessed with the amount of salt in a bath.
Oh, we fell for it. Hook, line, and sinker.
Just in case we nearly
Yeah.
forgot.
So quickly on MAFS.
Married at First Sight Australia.
Sorry, so I think it's genius again because though everyone will be slagging it off, everyone's talking about Skims.
Oh, right.
Again.
Yes, I
Or
agree.
skids, as I prefer
Skids.
to call it.
Yeah, maybe that's why we weren't the other side.
Maybe Meghan's going to become my new Kim.
Yeah, but you've got to be careful because otherwise people will just say it's really difficult, isn't it? Satire. No, I'm not saying you
I have
do.
such affection for Kim, and I don't think I'm ever mean about Kim.
No, I agree. But you have to get it right. There'll always be those who want to see in it some
Tough
sort
shit.
of throwing shade.
Tough shit. You see whatever you want. I am what I am.
Can you do another Nigella where you dress like her?
Yes.
Well, you didn't dress
We
like
never.
her.
I bought all those bloody pork pies, and we didn't do the Christmas one.
I wasn't talking about pork pies. I was talking about all your underwear.
Oh, okay.
Pork pies?
Not pork pies.
You know, when
Sausage
you
rolls.
dressed in the... I love that footage. I've got it in my phone. You know.
Mark, shut up.
Okay, maths. Not
Right.
maths. Maths.
You may want to leave if you're not watching Married at First
If you don't want
Sight.
to stay.
You can leave now. If you do, please hit the subscribe button. Please hit the thumbs up, not on your emojis, but underneath this. It's really nice for us if you could do that.
And if you fancy some merch, in the top comment pinned underneath this live is a link to get you to some of this clobber. So you can spill coffee
Don't buy
all over
his
your
one, buy
laptop.
my one.
Oh,
Ceramic
get the
one.
tin one, it's nicer. What was I going to say? So Married at First Sight Australia, how many episodes in are we? Two episodes
Well,
in.
3 really, because the first one was 2 hours.
But we are literally
It's
2 episodes in.
insane.
It's cray-cray.
Zoe. It's cray-cray.
As Lee says, we're only 2 episodes in and it's crazy.
I actually got, with
Oh,
last
Zoe,
night's episode,
yes.
I actually got really
Never
uncomfortable with
watched a
it.
more awkward couple.
Yeah.
We all went on such a journey. Me and the girls and you were all saying,
Every
I
time
can't bear this.
every time they do that ding ding and you're not going into the sad music, we're all like, oh no, oh God, she's going to be hurt, she's going to be upset. There's some really good characters in it.
Can I play devil's advocate? There's one couple, for those who don't know, there's a couple in it where there's a woman who's not found love. She had a really tender moment when she was trying on her dresses where she said, is this a failure? Is this cheating?
Have I trapped a man?
I'm trapping a man and having to find love in this way.
First time I've ever heard that kind of that POV on Married at
So
First
she broke my heart. And then the guy who came in, who was matched with her, we just all said he can't break her heart. And everything he said off camera to the producers was everything
horrible.
she would absolutely
Hate.
just not want to hear.
But Zoe, you know what I said to the girls right at the beginning when he did his chat, right? And he said, oh, it doesn't matter what somebody looks like, it's personality. I just want somebody that's really confident with their body, right? And they were all going, oh, he sounds really nice. He sounds really sweet. And my red flag ear was up. I said, what does be confident with you? What's the translation there? You see them do it in Love is Blind, where they try and find out what kind of body they've got, ask them how much sport they do and all of this. And then when we saw him at the autumn, and he read his vows, I was like, well, maybe I'm wrong. He is really nice. But there was something still about him that I was like, no. And then lo and behold, he doesn't want a woman just for his personality. He wants a petite blonde.
I'm not body shaming at all, and I don't think one should, but it
Coward,
feels a
exactly,
bit
Zoe.
smart when a guy is sat with his legs akimbo and everything out. Not exactly an Adonis, though I don't think there's anything
Maddie
wrong
was
with your
raging about that.
Yeah, no, but he sat like that, and he's saying to the producers off camera, she's not
Well,
basically
good-looking
not
enough,
good looking enough,
basically.
but hasn't for a moment asked himself whether
He could maybe
not that
shave.
she should find him attractive. It doesn't matter what shape anyone is, but it just feels
When you're
so,
slagging off someone else.
Exactly. Christopher Condell, who's in Australia,
and
says
also-
it gets even worse. Hold on tight for the ride.
Oh my God, she's so awful. And he's complaining about her weight, but he's learnt the woke language.
Thanks, Victoria.
So he's horrible. He's absolutely horrible, but he's learnt the language. So her weight is no good for you, but your weight she's fine with. And she was so lovely. But I did get a little bit cross last night with the show because I thought, have they edited out that he did say he wants a petite woman? Because when he was saying to the producer, God's sake, this isn't what I wanted, because now I'm going to say something that people might find controversial, but I don't care. I think it's the way that humans are. Some people aren't attracted to people that are overweight, right?
Right.
And that's totally okay. Some people aren't attracted to people that are very skinny. Some people don't like somebody that's really toned. I personally don't like people with a six-pack, you know, and it is okay. It is okay to have physical preferences. And last night, I was really worried that the program, we don't know this, had properly stitched her up. Because if he had said, I only like petite women, then they should never have done that to her, because she was so fragile about the way she looked and everything.
But can I also say, from a duty of care and compliance perspective, if they have asked him that in a way that suggests that's what he's going to get, they've also done him a disservice too. They've lied to him.
Yeah,
I mean, because
totally.
because in a sense, what they're
Totally.
doing by omission is casting him as the villain. And actually, and this is a real cause for concern for me with a lot of these shows, is that it's not to say whether he's right or wrong about body, but the way it's been edited. When he was sat on that chair, and he did say at one point, did you hear him say, "Do you want a hug?" Let's not forget, they've only just met.
Yeah.
They're not committed.
He's not obliged,
he's not obliged
to
for anything. But he's been cast as a villain already.
Totally.
And I had to really pull myself back, though we've kind of gone down that route that we went down as we were watching it. How much has he been manipulated to a place of expectation?
Yeah, that's where we got to at the end of our discussion was, what about, because it was that thing where he was so angry with the producer. That sounds to me like a man that had stated very clearly. And you
could argue that he was actually trying as best as he could within whatever his masculine efforts were to be as respectful as he could, knowing he could feel nothing. There was one incident.
And he waited until after, because we felt cowardly as well. We went through all this, Zoe. But actually, he didn't want to say on camera, "I don't find you attractive." And he did go to his room and he spoke to her off camera about it. So maybe, and this is where you have to be so careful with reality shows, you can have so much power as the editor. And obviously we don't know. We have no idea. But it's really important when we're making decisions on people to bear all of that in mind, you know. He might have stated very clearly, I'm not attracted to overweight women. It's okay. Because lots of men are. But he's not.
And yes, was it Jamie and Elliot? Was Elliot the one who talked about his father who was ill? He was so sweet,
beautiful.
so lovely.
He was the perfect example of what we were talking about earlier, that his father, even in his speech, when he said, "My father's taught me how to respect," and he was so lovely.
We're doing a Trump's America later because there's so much news. But maybe we should do on Thursday. We should do a kind of catch up of Married at First Sight, because there's so much appetite for it, isn't there?
Yeah, and the thing is, you can't binge watch it, so we can do.
Oh my God! What about the bride's sister? Oh my God! What was wrong with her in episode 1?
Well, I don't like to diagnose, and I'm not going to say here because I shouldn't diagnose, but I diagnosed her condition.
As what?
Well, I'm not going to say, because you can't just diagnose a person, and I'm not a psychiatrist, but I had a very strong opinion on what she was.
I could not get over that. I've never seen anyone like Victoria just said that the police are called in this series at some point.
It is.
What is it about you?
That's what worries me. Have the producers purposely matched people?
Oh, and on that note, listen to the audio when you hear their sync. It's so badly audio edited. So they obviously get them to sign contracts where they essentially sign away all ability to control the narrative, because the fact that he was talking off camera and they include it, that's one thing. But also the out of vision audio cuts are so glaringly obvious.
Listen for it.
Not when they're in vision
You'll
talking. You'll see scenes where there's a kind of scene of conflict. They won't have said what you're about to hear in person. So they edit it out of shot on a cutaway. They do it a lot. Now, look, lots of shows do that. But I do find this show is particularly bad at it. And Maddie was very funny last night. She said, "Please, I hope they don't get the experts just to describe what's happened at the party."
She's
remember?
So fucking funny, that kid.
Oh, what did she?
Oh, they've just walked out of the door.
Yeah.
She appears cross. It's like, don't do it. Don't stop doing it.
Say what
Producers,
we're seeing.
Don't get them, because we love them to analyze, and we love them when they get cross. We love him when he gets crossed.
I love him.
We want him to do a couples counselling session with us too.
I want him to get physical, though. I want him to high kick someone. He's amazing.
But anyway, it's brilliant, and we will do a live review one night.
We will.
Oh, can we just play the last little funny?
Oh yes, this is a funny clip.
Is this for your party? For your vagina? You love that for your vagina.
What is it?
It's a tampon.
It's a funny looking tampon.
It's
I've never
a
seen one.
tampon with a shooter.
Is this for your party?
Huh?
Yeah.
For your vagina? You love that for your vagina.
So those on podcast, a little boy handing his mum a Tampax and saying, "This is for your party. You love it for your vagina."
Sorry, I'm in a
Because
state.
he must have seen it and thought, it's so like she must love it so much that she puts it inside her vagina.
It's a shooter.
It's darling.
What is a shooter?
When you just push it and it goes up?
I've never
Because I don't use
something
them.
new. It's good. It's that moment in Alan Partridge where he goes, "He's got a
Oh
shooter."
shit! We didn't have time for the chores. It's such a good chat.
Well, we'll chat about that. We'll chat about that another day.
Yeah.
All right,
Save
guys.
that.
Well, there you go. Lots of love. Yeah. Something's landed. Oh, Trump. We'll see you later for Trump. More Trumpety Trump.
We'll let you know at least an hour before
Yeah,
when
and
we're
if-
going live.
And if you
But
haven't, do
please-
check out How to Stay Married.
Make sure you've hit the notification bell, guys, because that will tell you when we're live. It will notify you.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, guys. See you later. Let us know what you think.